The date is April 13th, 1612. The location is the tiny island of Ganryujima. A crowd has gathered on the beach. They are waiting for the greatest duel in the history of Japan. Standing on the sand is Sasaki Kojiro, known as the demon of the western provinces. He is the perfect samurai. He is dressed in the finest silks. His hair is perfectly groomed. In his hand he holds a nodachi, a magnificent, extra-long steel sword named the Drying Pole. He is disciplined, he is respected, and he is deadly. He is waiting for his opponent, Miyamoto Musashi. But Musashi is not there. The hour of the duel passes. Then another hour. The crowd grows restless. Kojiro grows furious. He paces the beach, his anger rising with every minute. He believes Musashi has fled in cowardice. He believes he has won by default. Finally, a small, dirty boat appears on the horizon. Inside sits Musashi. He is not dressed in armor. He is wearing rags. His hair is unkempt. He does not have a steel sword. While crossing the water, he has taken a wooden oar from the boat and carved it into a rough, jagged bokken, a wooden practice sword. As the boat touches the sand, Musashi steps out slowly. Kojiro, blinded by rage and insulted by Musashi's lateness and his wooden weapon, screams at him. He draws his long steel blade and charges. He throws his scabbard into the sea, a sign that he will fight to the death. Musashi smiles and says, "You have lost, Kojiro. If you planned to win, you would not have thrown away your scabbard." Kojiro attacks. His blade slashes downward, cutting the towel wrapped around Musashi's head. But at the exact same split second, Musashi brings the heavy wooden oar crashing down on Kojiro's skull. The demon of the western provinces falls dead. Musashi does not celebrate. He bows to the officials, steps back into his boat, and rows away without looking back. This was not just a sword fight. This was a psychological execution. Musashi did not defeat Kojiro with superior steel. He defeated him by hacking his mind before the fight even began. He used lateness to create anger. He used a wooden oar to create confusion and disrespect. He controlled the timeline, the environment, and the emotional state of his enemy. Today, we are dissecting the mind of Miyamoto Musashi, the sword saint. A man who fought 60 duels to the death and never lost. A man who wrote The Book of Five Rings, which is essentially a manual on how to kill your ego and become invincible. We will analyze his philosophy of the void, his tactics of disrupting rhythm, and his final manifesto, the Dokkodo, the path of walking alone. By the end of this video, you will understand how to win when you are outnumbered, how to turn your solitude into a superpower, and why true strength has nothing to do with technique and everything to do with the mind. To understand Musashi, you must understand that he was the anti-samurai. In feudal Japan, samurai were bureaucrats. They served lords. They cared about honor, appearance, and social status. Musashi cared about none of these things. He was a Ronin, a masterless samurai. He wandered the country filthy, homeless, and alone. He didn't bathe because he didn't want to be caught unarmed in a bathhouse. He was a feral animal who prioritized survival over etiquette. His philosophy was brutal in its simplicity. Do not do anything that is of no use. If honor does not help you win, discard it. If a beautiful sword does not help you kill, use an oar. If fighting fair leads to death, cheat. This is the essence of the apex mindset, pragmatism over dogma. Musashi divided his strategy into 5 books, or elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and void. Let us break down the psychological application of these elements in the modern world. The first lesson comes from the water book, The State of Fluidity. Musashi wrote, "Water adopts the shape of its container. It is sometimes a trickle and sometimes a wild sea." Most people lose in life because they are rigid. They have a plan. They have a style. They think, I am an aggressive person or I am a defensive person. Musashi teaches that having a fixed style is a death sentence. If you are rigid, you are predictable. And if you are predictable, you are dead. When Musashi fought, he mirrored his opponent's weakness. If the enemy was aggressive, Musashi became a void. If the enemy was cautious, Musashi became a storm. He had no stance. He believed that a stance is a fixed position, and in a fight to the death, You must be in constant motion. In your life, are you rigid? Do you get angry when things don't go according to your plan? Do you refuse to adapt to new technologies or new social dynamics because this is how I've always done it? That is your weakness. You must become water. You must adapt instantly to the container of your reality. The second lesson is from the Fire Book, the manipulation of rhythm. Musashi believed that everything in the universe has a rhythm. An army has a rhythm, a duel has a rhythm, a conversation has a rhythm. To win, you must find the opponent's rhythm and break it. This is what he did to Kojiro on the island. Kojiro's rhythm was precision, ritual, and speed. By arriving 2 hours late, Musashi destroyed that rhythm. He forced Kojiro to wait. Waiting creates tension. Tension creates fatigue. By the time Musashi arrived, Kojiro was no longer fighting his own fight. He was reacting to Musashi's timeline. You can apply this in negotiation or argument. If someone is shouting and speaking fast, do not match their speed. Slow down. Speak quietly. Pause for 5 seconds before answering. You disrupt their flow. They will subconsciously try to match your slower pace, which kills their aggressive momentum. Or, if someone is slow and methodical, shock them with sudden speed and pressure. Never let the opponent be comfortable in their own time signature. You must be the conductor of the interaction. The third lesson, and perhaps the most famous, is the two heavens as one. Musashi was famous for fighting with two swords, the katana, longsword, and the wakizashi, short sword. At the time, this was considered heresy. Samurai held the sword with 2 hands to deliver maximum power. Musashi held one in each hand. Why? Because he realized that clinging to tradition restricted his potential. He wrote, "It is wrong to rely on one thing. If you rely only on your right hand, your left hand is useless. If you rely only on your intellect, your intuition is useless." This is a metaphor for resource maximization. In the modern world, people specialize too much. They say, "I am a creative," so they ignore numbers. Or, "I am a numbers guy," so they ignore human psychology. Musashi teaches that you must use every tool available to you. You must be a warrior and a poet, a businessman and a philosopher, a master of violence and a master of tea. When you integrate your shadow and your light, your logic and your emotion, you fight with 2 swords. You become twice as dangerous, but the deepest level of Musashi's psychology is found in the Book of the Void. What is the void? It is not emptiness in the sense of nothing. It is the state of Mushin, no mind. When a normal person fights, they are thinking. They are thinking, how do I block? How do I strike? What if I lose? I hope I don't die. This internal monologue slows down your reaction time. The brain processes the thought, then sends the signal to the body. That millisecond of processing is where you get killed. Musashi trained until the technique was subconscious. He entered the void, where there is no I and no enemy. There is only the action. The sword moves by itself. You have experienced this in flow state, when you are driving and you don't remember the last 5 miles. When you are playing a sport and your body moves before you think. Musashi's goal was to live in this state permanently. To achieve this, you must stop valuing the outcome. You freeze because you are afraid of the result. You are afraid of rejection, failure, or loss. Musashi accepted death before the fight began. Because he had already accepted the worst possible outcome, his mind was free to focus entirely on the present moment. Paradoxically, letting go of the desire to win is the only way to guarantee victory. Now let us look at the end of his life. Musashi survived the wars. He retired to a cave called Regando. He was alone. He had no wife, no children, no lord, and no possessions. A week before his death, he wrote, "The Dokkodo, the Path of Aloneness." This document contains 21 rules for life. It is the ultimate manifesto of the Sigma or Apex mindset. Let's analyze the 3 most powerful rules. Rule 1. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Musashi was not a monk. He enjoyed life. But he understood that chasing dopamine makes you a slave. If you fight only to get a reward, money, fame, sex, you are weak. Anyone who controls the reward controls you. If you can be happy with nothing, If you can find satisfaction in the discipline itself, you are uncontrollable. You become self-sufficient. Rule 2. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This is the cure for narcissism. Most people are obsessed with themselves. What do people think of me? Am I successful? Am I hurt? This egocentric view blinds you. You miss the details of reality because you are looking in the mirror. Musashi teaches that the ego is heavy, it is a burden. By thinking lightly of yourself, you remove the weight of pride. You become observant. You see the enemy's movements, the weather, the terrain, the psychology of the crowd. You see the world as it is, not as you want it to be. The strategist must look outward, not inward. Rule 3. Never rely on a partial feeling. This means total commitment. Decision paralysis destroys more men than wrong decisions. When Musashi swung his sword, he did not hesitate halfway. He committed 100%. In life, you must be decisive. If you cut, cut through. If you leave a relationship, leave completely. If you start a business, go all in. Hesitation creates a gap in your armor, and that is where the blade enters. Musashi's life asks you a terrifying question: can you walk alone? We live in a society that demonizes solitude. We are told we need validation, likes, and constant connection to be happy. We are terrified of silence. Musashi proves that solitude is not a curse. It is a crucible. In the cave, stripped of all distractions, he refined his mind into a diamond. When you are alone, you cannot lie to yourself. There is no one to blame. There is no audience to perform for. There is only you and your discipline. This is the way of the lone samurai. It is not about being antisocial, it is about being self-defined. It means your confidence does not come from the crowd clapping for you. It comes from your own internal scorecard. It means you do not follow the herd off the cliff. You check the map yourself. How do you apply this today? You apply it by embracing the gaze of the Buddha. In his book, Musashi describes how to look at the enemy. He says, do not look at the sword, do not look at the eyes, look at the whole. When you are in a high-pressure situation, a negotiation, a conflict, a crisis, widen your vision. Do not hyper-focus on the immediate problem, the sword. See the big picture. See the room. See the emotions. See the exit. When you fixate on the threat, you freeze. When you see the whole, you find the path. You apply it by practicing training without end. Musashi wrote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men." There is no finish line. There is no "I made it." There is only the daily process of sharpening the blade. If you are not getting better, you are getting worse. Entropy is the natural state of the universe. Discipline is the rebellion against entropy. Miyamoto Musashi died peacefully in his cave, kneeling, holding his sword. He conquered the external world by conquering his internal world. He showed us that a man with a wooden stick can defeat a man with the finest steel if the man with the stick has a mind like water and a will like iron. You are fighting your own duels every day. You are fighting distraction. You are fighting laziness. You are fighting fear. Do not wait for the perfect sword. Do not wait for the perfect time. Take the oar you have, carve it into a weapon, and step onto the beach. The boat is gone. The crowd is watching. The sun is setting. Do not look back. Walk alone.